that. We ain't Knight Riders. That. We ain't Knight Riders.
Welcome to the Knight Riders Squadcast live stream. You are now rolling with the Knight Riders.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Freeze in full effect. You ready, Ron? I'm ready. You ready, Dave? I'm ready, Slick. Are you? Oh yeah, take it down. Girl, I must warn you, I sense something strange in my mind. Yo, situation is serious. Let's cure it cause we're running out of time. It's all so beautiful. Relationships they seem from the start. It's also when love is not together from the heart. Check it out. It's driving me out of my mind. That's why it's hard for me to find. Can't get it out of my head. Miss her, kiss her, love
Wrong
her.
move, you're dead.
That girl is you, I'd say.
And we are in the building once again. Salute to everybody in the building. Man, y'all crowding in here early tonight. Salute. Let me get some shout outs real quick. Salute to my man, Israel Online in the building. First one in the building. Iman Perry not far behind in the building. Salute, bro. Got a few other people in the building. Salute to all of you, because I know some of you don't want to be seen over here. It's kind of controversial around these parts. So if you want to stay in the shadows, then understandable, because you know how we go in over here. Salute, salute. Is there another week of Efri? Oh, yes, and we are here to dissect it as per usual. I would like to thank you all for joining us for another exciting episode of the Knight Riders Squadcast. And boy, do we have a show tonight. I'm going to maybe have it abbreviated because I have a lot of stuff I need to get done. Have some issues I'm dealing with. So I mentioned it briefly on Black Ram's broadcast. I had a very good, a nice lady on the squad that we were having a couple of issues. So, you know what? That might be an issue that I'm going to have to upload on Patreon to give you guys the details on that. But I will say this, though, bros. You got to make sure that you are secure in who you are as a man. You don't define yourself by your women or any of your assets. Although, with my particular situation, when I have women on the team, then they have particular purposes in terms of their assisting me with certain things. in this particular issue. She was definitely an assistant, someone that I could lean on. But you know how women are, they get emotional and so forth. So you have to kind of, because they kind of go back and forth. So, they get in their feelings and things happen. So you got to kind of massage them a little bit, but you know how it is. But, we're dealing with it. But at the same time, that's the subject for another broadcast. But at any rate, once again, I want to thank you all for joining me for another exciting episode of the Knight Riders Squadcast. And as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, what we're going to do is talk about a particular situation that I'm not sure if you guys are aware of. It's been brought to my attention because I don't necessarily operate in these spaces when it comes to what's going on with these ladies. My initial interest in this whole thing, when I brought it to your attention with regard to this secret war, as it was, and incidentally, I'm not making this part of the Secret War series because I have something special for the third installment. So I'm just going to kind of make this another component of it. But when this was first brought to my attention, my interest in it was because I was kind of an OG when it came to this particular topic. And I remember, like I mentioned before, almost 20 years ago, I was warning these B-dubs to pretty much take ownership of their own image, kind of like what black men did, after we got out of the, Jerry curl phase and trying to look like something that we were not. And I admitted to you guys that, myself included, I used to rock the Jerry curl as well. But my point was, as black men, we pretty much owned our own identity in our natural phenotype a lot sooner than the women have. They pretty much doubled and tripled down on looking like something that they were not, spending billions of dollars and putting that into the coffers of other communities. So initially, when I was talking about this stuff, it wasn't centered around beauty and all this other vain stuff. I was looking at the economics. And the pushback that I got was ridiculous, And as I mentioned, and this is no exaggeration, I was getting women leaving me hate mail, essentially, because like I said, I used to do the blogs and I would get a huge following. And we had on these message boards where you could have kind of like the direct messages and so forth as well. And it would be filled with a lot of women hating. They would try to get some of my posts deleted and all of that. So I'm kind of being vindicated when I deal with this subject. And all this other stuff, when it comes to these individual beefs, that just kind of ties into the larger point. So once I got wind of this particular situation with one Paris Milan and this upstart by the name of Exoticals United. Now, I don't profess to know much about either one of them. When it came to Paris Milan, I used to hear about her back in the day. I guess she had some dealings with Boyce Watkins, that biscuit head Negro who is supposed to be some PhD in economics, but he keeps presenting all kinds of get-rich-quick schemes to the people. So I've never really rocked with him, but in passing, I would see the videos pop up, and I guess she was with him, and he owed her like $75 or something goofy like that. And I just kind of was looking at it from a distance. And at one point, I kind of felt bad for her because I felt like this was something that should have been handled behind closed doors. And it was looking bad for a man that allegedly was supposed to be of a certain stature to owe this woman money, because I guess she did some work for him. And she was going after him for $75. I started to send it to her myself, but I guess at some point they resolved it, so that was good. So I heard that she was making certain videos that they were anti-black man. Now, I mean, initially I think she was kind of pro-black man, and I would kind of see some of her videos here and there. And I wasn't really watching it. Kind of like with Cynthia G, when she first came out, she was so pro-black, and every once in a while I would kind of catch it. And then next thing I know, I hear they're damn near divestors, or they're pretty much going in on black men. So after that, I wasn't really paying attention to her, but apparently she's gained quite a following for herself. So shout out to her, because I think last time when I used to kind of pay a little bit more attention to her, she had like 1,000 subscribers or something. But anyway, so I guess she blew up going in on black men. You know how it is, and that's one of the things that we push back against over here in terms of the propaganda. But long story short, she pretty much is into it with this other individual who, she doesn't show herself, but she goes by Exoticals United. So I hear there's a bunch of other channels like hers that are springing up, but I guess she may be the biggest one. And I don't have time to go and look through all of them. So we're just kind of focusing on the one that kind of stands out. So when we're looking at some of this material, her particular channel pops up all the time. So we're just going with her. But it's making a larger issue, which is the point in terms of what these women have done. And they have created yet another Frankenstein. And when I say these women, I'm talking about the B-dubs and how it's come back to bite them once again in the ass. So we're going to go deep into that. And let me get some of these comments. You guys are tripping. What Israel says, he said another week of effery. And then Iman says controversial is my middle name. Yeah, I know you're always here for the business, Iman. You never saw some effery that you didn't like. So he's always in the building when there's some effery. And Israel says both sides are chronic European paradigm lovers, aka EPL. Okay, that's a new one. And then Iman says Paris is a 2018 name. Yeah, I think that's her real name. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to get into it, guys, because like I said, I got to get right into it so that I can take care of some other things. But this is going to be a fire show as usual, because we're going to bring a unique angle as we always do. But one thing I want to be clear about is that before we get started with this, I have heard from people that they are not getting notified about uploads. So it's just some kind of funny thing going on with my channels. As you know, my other channel, we're still in YouTube jail over there, so I've not uploaded. I got to check to see when it's safe to upload again, because we got like 2 strikes over there. Don't want that channel to be taken down, so I'm being kind of strategic in terms of what I upload. So, just for you guys who may be double subscribed over there, you may have noticed that we haven't put anything over there in a while, and it's because we definitely are in YouTube jail. And when it comes to this channel, I'm hearing people are not getting notifications. Are you guys in the building? Let me know if you're getting your notifications, because a lot of you guys, you come because you know the times, but other people who may have want to watch the playbacks and so forth, they're saying they're not even getting notified of that. Also, I have noticed that our views are being kind of slowed down, and then they'll go up and then they'll kind of go down. I don't know what that is. It's kind of weird. It's like they're rolling them back. So it's like, when we're over here putting in this heavy work, it's like a lot of times the algorithm doesn't like it. So I think they have little tricks of the trade that they do to try to suppress the channel. We think our subscriber count should be higher as well. So it's just a lot of goofy shit going on. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. So if you notice things that look kind of funny, we've noticed it too. I know for a fact that certain videos should be doing a lot better based on the analytics and so forth. But then, we get a lot of goofy stuff happening, like views will be like, as they start moving, then they get knocked down. We'll go into the hundreds, and then all of a sudden, it's like they say we'll get like 200, and I look up and then it's like 150, and just dumb stuff like that. So I don't know what they're doing, but I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Oh yeah, Israel, he comes with so that's one of your originals, right? He got the EPL. You heard it here first. Exactly. Yeah, I will have to concede that. I heard that here first. So once again, whether it's from me or other Knight Riders, you definitely hear things first over on this channel. But anyway, let's carry on. The other thing here is that the situation between these 2 YouTubers, and I mean this Exoticals and this Paris, is a case study. So, we like to do the case studies, and we're one of the pioneers of that. And in fact, when on my main on my other channel, when I started bringing the case studies out, then I noticed a lot of other people started copying the style. You know how they do. You know, we pioneer stuff and people take it and run with it, but it's cool. So we were bringing things out with our dissections, and we labeled them case studies. And so that means that it's not necessarily centered around these particular individuals in question. We're looking at a larger issue, and that's how we're going to approach it. And they are merely microcosms of a much larger issue, which we're going to break down shortly. And as I said once before, myself and others have been warning quote, unambiguous Black women for decades to embrace their own natural beauty and stop elevating other women to represent them. They're finally starting to get it, but it's coming at a very brutal cost, as we're going to see, because as you can tell by the title, we say when beauty talk turns ugly, which is kind of ironic, but we're going to explain exactly what is meant by that. And so, like I said, my whole purpose of even dealing with these type of topics, not just because they're very entertaining and I know you guys really enjoy them, but I have been vindicated, as now, due to Black women's blatant inconsistency and hypocrisy, these exoticals are turning on them. And this particular individual with this Exoticals United is another microcosm of a movement, as I pointed out to you guys, where what they're doing is they're breaking away from the label, as it were, of being kind of Black women. Some of them still kind of want to associate themselves with Black, and they kind of want to do this weird dance where at the same time they want to be associated with Black, but then they still want to embrace their other part of their heritage. In this particular individual, I think someone showed me a video where she was saying, as it pertains to Kamala Harris and others who like to do the chameleon thing, who will jump between two different cultures, and somehow she was making the case that that is acceptable and that's a good thing for them to do. Now, here's the problem with that. As a community, such as it is, the Black community, it should be up to the Black community to determine whether or not they're going to accept that kind of thing. Because I can understand why someone who is given the opportunity to jump between all these different communities, if they feel like they can garner some type of benefit from doing it, then of course they're going to do it. But what you will find is other communities don't accept that. If you take someone who is half Black and half Asian, for example, the Asians are not going to embrace that person as a full Asian. In fact, they're not even going to identify them as Asian. Same thing with the whites. So for some reason, these particular individuals, like this Exotical chick, she thinks that it's okay to do this little dance when it comes to Black people, because there's historically been this blanket acceptance of that when people are jumping ship. Now, that's not to say that someone who has a multiracial background and they say they phenotypically look more Black and they culturally identify with Black, then you have to pick that side and stick with it. You understand? Because we can get into the nuance in debate as to whether or not they're actually Black from a genetic level. That's cool. But just from a cultural standpoint, they would have to pick a side. And when you have someone like this Exotical chick who thinks it's okay to want to be able to dip into a Black identity and then dip out, and the same thing with the hypocritical Black women who have historically did that to them, where they would say, okay, for the purposes of us being able to promote a beauty standard that says that, okay, we come in all these different shades and features, so we're going to use you for that. But when it comes time to get some type of accolades or acknowledgement, we don't want you in the mix because you ain't Black. You know, that kind of BS with, a little game that they like to play, right? So we're here to call out the BS. And from the standpoint of us as men, I want you to understand that a lot of this foolery and fuckery that you see is generated from them, because oftentimes they want to scapegoat and make it seem like you're the problem. And the reason why we analyze and dissect things like this is not because we really give a damn at the end of the day, because again, we advocate for you guys to get your weight up, find a place that you want to be on this earth, and make the life that you want to live. You are not chained at the hip with the B-dub or being in America in general. And we are strong advocates of you guys seeking happiness and well-being wherever you can get it. What we do over here, we're analyzing it A lot of this is entertainment. We're like the emperors in the Colosseum. We're sitting up in the skybox and we're looking at the gladiatorial combat and we're analyzing it, right? That's what we're doing. So I just want to be very clear about that, because some people get it twisted. They're like, oh, well, you're talking about this. Y'all must care. Actually, we don't. We're just basically dissecting it and breaking down and showing the hypocrisy. So that's how we get down over here. But anyway, let's get to it, guys, because we got some clips that we're going to run, and then we're going to break them down. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you where it stands right now, because what I mean when I say it's getting ugly, it is really getting ugly, because at this point, I hear that Paris Milan, who I believe had about 300,000 subscribers, she hit her channel, because I guess these Exoticals are giving her that work or something. And they exposed the fact that allegedly she was bleaching herself while at the same time trying to promote a black beauty standard. So it's kind of weird, but we're going to go into some of these clips and we're going to break them down. So the first clip is going to be from this Exotical chick, and we're going to see what she has to say about this particular situation. So let me go ahead and load that up. Give me one moment. And salute to everybody. Let's see a few other people coming into the building. Salute to you. As we get this all queued up right here. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to show where this Exotical chick, I don't know what her name is, because she did her channel. This goes by Exoticals United. I don't know if she has another name. Like I said, I haven't looked that deep into her, because like I said, she's kind of, I guess, the biggest channel of the Exoticals. So that's why we're dealing with her. But we're just going to call her the Exotical. Or I would give her the moniker that we coined last week, Exotical. But to be fair, I don't know if she's an Exotical like the Brittany Renners of the world. So I'm not going to go there, because I'm not sure what her background is, where, you know, if she is an Exotical. So for the sake of, you know, just being accurate, we'll just call her an Exotical for now until further evidence is revealed. So, but anyway, we're going to get into what she has to say about the fact that based on this little back and forth that was going on between her and Paris, apparently Paris has hit her channel or deleted it or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's get it.
Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Wow. So apparently, Paris Milan, who has over 300,000 subscribers, has now hidden her YouTube channel, supposedly because of me, allegedly. So I find it interesting that all it took was me giving an opinion on skin bleaching and skin lightening, kojic acid, the use of kojic acid soaps. We've got hundreds, if not thousands, of skin bleachers on this channel. So I just find it interesting how she spent all of that time coming for Exoticals. She called us worthless, hideous hybrids. And, you know, I've got a screenshot of that on my community page. She has said horrendous.
Damn, she called her that, man. Has she been listening to D? Shout out to D. That sounds like something you'd say, but anyway, let's get it.
Things about mixed race people. And now her channel has been hidden because I'm guessing she doesn't really like when people question her. I guess.
I understand that sentiment, Israel. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this rabbit hole is very deep, bro. And I want you guys to hear this kind of stuff, because here's the thing. While those women are over there going back and forth with each other, they expose a lot, because you guys are gonna see a side of them when they go at each other. They go hard, man. It's just like when when they get into those lesbian relationships, and they're the most violent amongst themselves, but then they want to put out these narratives that somehow you guys are the violent ones. No, what you're going to see tonight is when they go at each other, they go for each other's throat. You understand? So that's the reason I'm showing you this, because you guys have to demystify these women. Don't put them on no pedestal. Like, if you got a good one and she rocking with you, then that's one thing. Because I've dealt with some good women. Like I said, I got some things going on right now. But you got to look at the value on an individual basis, but as a group, you got to make sure that you are demystifying these women. Don't put them on no pedestals. When they go in on each other, it's a bunch of effery. It's a lot of vanity going on. They're debating about beauty, who looks better than who. You're gonna see it. They talking about pimping each other. It's crazy, bro. I'm telling you. That's why we over here we do this type of work to give you guys a whole nother perspective that people overlook. But let's get it.
She doesn't like it when people start to dish it out on the same level that she dished it to them. And it's funny because when I responded to Paris Milan, I actually didn't even dish anything out to her personally, like in a mean way. And if you guys don't believe me, you can go back and look at my videos. I never came on here and said, hey, I'm your pimp, I'm your master, you're my slave, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't be here.
You see, she's repeating what they had been saying. So I wasn't exaggerating. That's literally the type of stuff they be saying to each other. So she just said it right there, right? Let me play it back. I wasn't exaggerating. This type of BS they be saying to each other, but you guys are the the exploiters. You're the guys who treating them bad, right? But this is how they talk to each other, right? Check this out.
I actually didn't even dish anything out to her personally, like in a mean way. And if you guys don't believe me, you can go back and look at my videos. I never came on here and said, hey, I'm your pimp, I'm your master, you're my slave, blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't be here without me.
So apparently, I guess that's what Paris or some of the other unambiguous black women are telling these exoticals, right? That they're their master. They wouldn't be there because of them. I mean, this is what the type of stuff they're saying to each other.
Look better than all of you. That was Paris that said all of those things. And then Paris actually admitted in one of her previous live streams that she was receiving hundreds of
And this is fair use, by the way, fair use for educational purposes, of course.
Comments of people just kind of asking her questions about her kojic acid soap, which she sells on her channel. I mean, we all know, especially over here, this is a sociology channel. So, of course, we understand what skin bleaching is, or skin lightening. I'm sorry. Some of you guys were telling me I was using the wrong terminology. It's called skin lightening. They don't like the term bleaching because they feel like bleaching.
Tomato. So I guess the nomenclature has to be a certain way because I guess it gets in people's feelings if you use the word bleaching versus lightening. So, that's semantics, whatever. But it's ironic. And again, this is alleged. I don't know whether Paris is bleaching her skin or not. It would be ironic if she is. But again, I don't know. I've not delved deep enough to know one way or the other. So I'll say allegedly she's bleaching herself, but that's what they're saying. And that's the debate, which I find the height of hypocrisy and irony, if that's true, because, they're trying to, at the last, embrace their natural features, and they're, calling these exoticals, these hybrids and so forth. But at the same time, if they're still trying to look like them, then that's kind of weird, right? But anyway, let's get it.
Is like, Michael Jackson or something, or using the unhealthy hydroquinone creams and skin lightening.
Yeah, I know, Israel. That's how we think, right? We don't get into all the little BS semantics, but this is what they like to do, right? So we're just looking, we're sitting in our Imperial skybox looking at the gladiatorial combat, right? So if one of them does something stupid in the Coliseum that we wouldn't do, I mean, it's just for entertainment. So we understand that there ain't no difference, right? But they like to play these little word games and mental gymnastics. So we're just here for the entertainment, but let's go.
Is where you can go as light as Michael Jackson, but you're doing it naturally by simply taking things like glutathione or vitamin C or MSM. And for those of you who were in my comment section,
and some of this stuff she's talking about, I've never heard of it. And it's actually kind of educational because I didn't know the extent to which, or the lengths that these women have gone to with all these different chemicals that they're using, whether they're natural or man-made. I don't know. But it just seems to me like, I mean, that's a lot of work to not look like yourself and to put billions of dollars in someone else's coffers when you could just accentuate your natural melanin, your natural beauty, and instead of trying to get rid of it, try to come up with products to help accentuate it. Now, I understand skincare and all of that. I'm a big advocate of making sure you can have even skin and, very smooth skin. I love women with smooth, nice skin, right? I think that's an important thing. But that's a big difference between skincare and making sure that your natural complexion is at its best by having the right diet, having the right activities, and so forth, and using certain creams and lotions that are natural and good for you, as opposed to using things that are going to change you on a molecular level and possibly poison you over the long term. Because some of this stuff, I don't know how field tested it is or how long of an ability they have to track the effects of it, but it just seems like they're turning themselves into you know guinea pigs and some types of human experiments. It's kind of weird, all in the name of quote beauty. So it's really crazy. And Israel says, yeah, I'm here to laugh at these self-hating losers. Yeah, it's very entertaining. At the same time, I want you guys to just remember that this is what you would have to deal with if you were in a mindset of still thinking that these women were something to be sought after, right? This mindset is what a lot of guys have to deal with that are still not on the level that we are mentally to understand what exactly you're dealing with. So it's very interesting to get this kind of snapshot of how these women interact with each other. So that's the reason why I think it's important to look at this type of stuff. And then Iman says facts, and facts again. And Iman says, I wish dark-skinned women would love their skin. There's a lot of power in that melanin. Yeah, exactly, Iman. You hit the nail on the head. But what's so funny, Iman? They will say stuff like that, but deep down, I don't know how much they believe it. Some of them do. Some of them, the ones that you could tell that will rock their natural hair. They don't have their skin looking all funny. Because you could tell when they're actually bleaching, because it has that kind of weird. Because a normal light skinned person, their skin looks different than a person who's bleaching. I know I'm not the only one that can notice the difference. So you'll see it, even if it's ever so slight. You'll tell it's just an off looking color. I really don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of weird looking to me. But they do that, and even with that makeup, right? You'll have a woman who's a certain complexion, and then she's kicking on all this witchcraft or this special effects, essentially, and it's about 10 shades lighter than her normal skin tone. And I'm not one of these guys who say women shouldn't wear makeup. I don't mind a little makeup, especially if I'm going out with a woman, because I like to take women to nice places. So if they want to, make themselves up a little bit, that's cool. But when you're around me, most of the time, I want a woman to not be wearing no makeup around me, unless we are going somewhere special or something like that. And if there's a huge deviation between how she looks normally and when she puts on that freaking makeup, then that's a problem. Because then at that point, you're wearing a goddamn disguise. It ain't you. So it's crazy. And Israel says, can't have hope in creatures that are self-conscious of themselves and follows other people's standards. 100%. That's right. He says, too insecure for me. Unconfident women are a turnoff for me. Yep. I guess Iman's laughing at what I said. Yeah, I mean that, bro. They're pretty much not being who they are, and that's the problem. But let's get it.
And saying things like, oh, lactic acid is a skin bleach. Oh my gosh, you don't have to worry, because if you're using like lactic acid, it's not going to turn you into Michael Jackson. People who are doing skin lightening.
And lactic acid, I thought that was something that was in milk, right? I thought that was something that we digest. Am I wrong? I'm not a biochemist, but lactic acid, I didn't even know people were using that externally. I thought that was found in milk and other dairy products, right? So what the hell are they doing putting lactic any type of acid? I think on your skin is not a good thing, right? It's kind of weird the lengths that these women will go to. And yeah, that's what I thought. He said, yes, it's in milk. Yeah. So he's saying that apparently they're putting lactic acid on their skin to lighten it, which is something I had never heard of. He said cow's milk, to be exact. Yeah. But again, it's dairy, right, and milk, and and derivatives of that, which would be butter and cheese. I would imagine it has lactic acid as well. But again, I only knew it to be something that was, that we would digest. And some people who are lactose intolerant, I guess, can't do it. But I wonder what the effect of that would be on someone if they're taking it like she's talking about, putting it on their skin. Again, I don't know what type of science projects or uh, Frankenstein monster type experiments they're trying to do on themselves, but I guarantee you, in the not too distant future, there's going to be some type of ramifications from all this BS that they're doing to themselves. Because at the end of the day, this stuff is going against nature, right? All of this stuff that they're doing to try to make, whether it's the weave, all this goofy ass makeup, all of now these chemicals that they're using, this stuff has to have a long term effect. They don't even know what it is. Just like you guys remember back in the day when those women were using those relaxers that they called creamy crack. You remember when they were using that stuff? Come to find out, that stuff had formaldehyde in it, all kind of crazy chemicals that they're still suffering from. And the reason why some of these women are batshit crazy probably has to do with them relaxers that they were doing back in the day. Y'all remember that? I know I might be older than a few of you guys, but I remember they even had it for kids. They had little packs that they would sell for the girls that had all these crazy chemicals in them, and it was basically poison, and it would seep into their scalp, and it was horrible. But I think they're even still selling those things now, but at least some of these B-dubs have gotten enough sense to not use it as much, and that's why they've turned to the weaves. But they were using those relaxers a lot, and those relaxers were filled with all kind of carcinogenic chemicals that were poisoning them, and it's ridiculous, giving them fibroids, all kind of stuff. And I guarantee you, some of this stuff that they're doing with these bleachings and all of that, that's probably going to have the same effect down the road. But let's go.
They are normally using more than one method. They're not just putting on lactic acid at night or something. No, usually they're like staying out of the sun. They're putting on sunscreen. They're using extra creams and stuff like that. They're exfoliating their skin. They're taking pills. So there's no need to worry.
So they just got a whole witch's brew of all kind of stuff they're doing, huh? So it's not just one thing. They're just doing a cocktail of crap to destroy their natural features. It's ridiculous.
If you have a kojic acid soap or something, don't worry. You're not
kojic acid. There's another acid. So again, they're using lactic acid, kojic acid. What's next? Battery acid? I don't know.
Not going to wake up and be white. I've actually tried it. I do have some kojic acid soap, so don't.
So wait a minute. She's an exotical. She's even lightening her skin. Wait a minute. So she's not light enough naturally. Even the exoticals are using this stuff. I mean, what part of the game is that? I thought that it was only the unambiguous black women who were walking around with all the insecurity. So apparently, insecurity is not limited to one faction of these women. There's enough insecurity to go around, because even the quote exoticals are using these type of methods as well. Let's continue.
Don't worry, I don't look like Michael Jackson or anything. You have to be using multiple.
Well, she's not showing herself, so we don't know that to be sure. But anyway,
different methods and actually staying out of the sun in order for it to change your skin tone.
It's not natural to want to stay out of the sun, especially if you're melanated. The sun is supposed to be your friend. That's why the Almighty Creator made us with the melanin, because the melanin is supposed to help your skin. You know, that's why you can be out in the sun. I love being out in the sun. You know, as men, we don't get caught up in being a couple of shades darker or whatever. We don't care about that, so we can go out and enjoy the sun. We can be at the beach. We can go all these different places. So it just seems kind of weird for ostensibly melanated people to be running from the sun, right? I understand the non-melanated people, but even them, they want to be in the sun too. That's why they wear sunscreen, so that they can be in the sun. Now, that's a whole nother problem, because the sunscreens are toxic as well. But at the very least, these people want to be in the sun. So it's unnatural for people to not want to be in the sun, especially people who are melanated. So that's kind of weird to me. So what are you guys saying? He said, he said, them half breeds are very insecure. Yeah. I can get that part, but I didn't realize the extent to which they were altering themselves as well to, just say if they're already naturally liked, I guess that's not good enough. So they're using these chemicals as well. So it's kind of weird. That's what I mean by that. But of course, yeah, I mean, just in general, especially in the Western society, a lot of these people are highly insecure. Israel says the fight to be the white man's whore who will come out on top. Yeah, or on bottom. It depends, right? So it depends on how you look at it. I mean, they may think they're on top, but one person's top is another person's bottom. But let's go.
But Paris Milan, she hid her YouTube channel after people noticed that kojic acid actually is a skin lightening soap. And they noticed that her skin is lighter. And as far as the images that I showed here on my YouTube channel, those were all just public images from Paris Milan's YouTube channel. Oh yeah, and then I saw where she tried to say that she thinks I'm like a fat white woman or something like that. That's fine. I mean, there are about 10 different people that people on YouTube are saying that I am. Some people were saying that she was threatening to like dox me or something. I'm not afraid of being doxxed. People think that I'm already doxxed. So, and I have no problem with whoever people think I am.
Yeah, that's crazy, Israel. He says, I'm talking to a Kenyan chick who's light skinned. She prides herself on her light skin. I asked her, does that make you special? And she said, yes. That is crazy, bro. And I guarantee you, some of that light skin probably is from a bottle, or she's probably doing that because Kenyans are not normally light skinned. So either she's maybe mixed or something, or I would guarantee you if she's like full Kenyan, she's probably got that through some chemical process and she's proud of it and she think it makes her special just because she bought some lightning cream. So it's kind of weird. Ray Hama, the Hama force in the building. Salute, bro. Yeah, I know he's always in the building with this subject, so he's Johnny on the spot. So salute to him. He's an expert on this subject. So you know what? I saw you tag me on some things, bro. I'm gonna have to start looking into those videos, man. I've been so busy, but because I remember you said you were gonna send me some stuff. I think is that what you meant when you sent me those? I think you tagged me on it because I thought you were gonna email me some stuff too. So if you still want to email me something, that's cool because I want to check out what you're talking about. But I did get those. You tagged me, I guess, on some links. I'm gonna check those out. So salute to you on that. And Ray says, I wasn't looking at my phone till now, but her ass sounds like Candace Owens. Yeah, she, she might even look like her. I don't know. You never know. These women, they be on here, putting on fronts. And you never know what's behind those avatars. But anyway, he said she's not mixed. Both have medium brown skin parents. Oh, okay. So again, bro, she's probably using. He's talking about the Kenyan chick that he's talking to. She's probably lightening herself because a lot of times these women, they do these artificial things and they take it as an esteem boost. And it's weird because as men, we believe in things that we actually have earned. Right? We don't have these, just like if you take the dynamic between whether it's an unambiguous black man and a biracial black man, right? We don't have these type of dynamics about who's better looking and all this type of stuff. It's kind of weird. There's another type of dynamic. And again, that might be a future broadcast that I may deal with is the dynamic between unambiguous black men and mixed race men and things like that. And it's a whole different dynamic. But when it comes to these women, they're very catty and they go back and forth about goofy stuff, about all this vanity. So it's really weird, but it's funny to kind of just look at it from the outside. And that's why we're breaking this down. And Israel says, I guess concerning the Kenyan woman, he says she's very sexy, but I'm not tolerating that nonsense mindset and had to humble her real quick. I told her your programming is strong and she was confused by the statement. Yeah. There's you're like trying to talk to someone that's in the matrix, man. They don't, they don't know they're in the matrix. And if you pull them too hard out, I mean, I've experienced that too. You try to wake them up on a certain level and then they start breaking down. Right. And I've kind of dealing with that with the situation I mentioned earlier as well, where it's very hard when you have a woman at a certain level and she's good, but every time you try to elevate, you just got to keep them kind of where they're at, to some extent, because naturally as men, we want to take them to the next level, right? But unfortunately, they tend to kind of break down at certain levels because the women have to operate on a certain level of pretense. I'm gonna say that again because I want you guys to understand what I'm saying, because it took me to get a lot more wisdom as I got older, because when I was younger, it didn't make sense to me, but now it does. Women operate on a certain level of pretense, meaning just like with the makeup thing, right? As men, we don't deal with none of that stuff, right? We want to make sure we're nicely groomed, we got a nice cut, our beard is nice, stuff like that. But as far as painting on a whole nother face, putting on someone else's hair, we don't do all that kind of madness, because we operate in the real world. We know that we're at our best. If we want to dress up, we want to make sure we're looking good, smelling good. We got our fade, our beards looking good, our skin looking good. We're good with that. We don't need to put on a whole nother mask, because we operate with reality. Women, on the other hand, they operate on a certain level of pretense. So for them, it's perfectly acceptable to wear another person's hair. It's perfectly acceptable to put on or paint on a mask, because women are not like us. They don't operate on the certain level of reality. And once you bring women to a certain level of reality, they tend to break down. And we have to, and it's, you have to remember that when you're dealing with them. And as men, I think a lot of times we may overlook that. And I have to even remind myself, even when I came up with that conclusion years ago, when I said, you know what, I can't hold these women to a certain standard. They just don't operate and think like us. So it's, we're logical. We deal with reality. They operate on a certain level of pretense. You may have heard that here first. So once again, we do the deep dives over here. And then Israel said, yeah, I learned that from my ex. Yeah. Yeah, you're either going to learn the hard way, or, sometimes you may be fortunate enough to figure it out before you have to deal with that. And you said, I learned not to mess up their programming. Anytime I was trying to teach her, she pretended to be interested, but was really listening so I could shut up. Yeah, they'll do that too. But let's get it.
That's not a big deal to me, because I don't feel the need to prove myself to anyone. So people can think what they want. But I find it interesting.
See, that's the thing too. That's another thing that these women think when they say stuff like that. They think that's actually something good. It's not good. Women should care about what people think. That's why women's reputations are something that they should guard very carefully. That's why once a woman is known to be for the streets, or to be a thought or an exotical or whatever the case is, it's a bad look. But at the same time, these women will walk around here like her talking about they don't care what people think. But the moment in reality they start getting treated a certain way, then they wonder why. So it's kind of weird that when they say stuff like that, they think they're being unique or strong or whatever it is, but it's really a bad thing for a woman to not be concerned about what other think of them. They try to take on these masculine attributes because as men, we have to be less concerned about what other people think, because we have to make the hard decisions. We have to do certain things. It's just like being a disciplinarian, right? Everybody's not going to like you, but you still got to lay it down. Just like if you got children, and as the father, you have to be sometimes the bad guy. The mother should be the one that's more the nurturer and so forth. But when it comes to time to do the hard work and to lay down the law, then that's what you're expected to do. But it's weird when these women take on these personality traits that would say that they don't care what other people think, and they don't care what men think. They want to decenter men and all this type of madness, which in reality, they're going against the order of the creator. And some of these women may have been raised in with some type of spirituality, and they've abandoned it. Now I can understand them abandoning religion, but they are abandoning morality. They are abandoning spirituality. They're abandoning just standards. And that's the problem. It's one thing to get out of organized religion. I can understand that. But what they do is throw the baby out with the bathwater, and they want to get rid of morality itself. And that's why they come up with these attitudes where, oh, I don't care what people think. I don't care what I do. Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why your reputation is mud. It's because you don't care, and you've given up the things that made the generations of women before you great, because they did care and they did have a concern about their image. But let's go.
How Paris Milan had no problem spewing all that vitriol and all that hatred towards mixed race women, towards Hispanic women, towards light-skinned women. She had no problem spewing all that. And then when I simply said, "Hey, Paris, you're light-skinned. You yourself are light-skinned." Then suddenly her channel is now hidden because it's affecting her mental health negatively. Or I'm assuming it's affecting her mental health. And I could be wrong. I mean, this is all just speculation. Everything I say on this channel is obviously based on my opinion. But isn't that interesting? Paris was coming online saying, "I'm dark skinned, I'm dark skinned, I'm dark skinned." And I'm thinking to myself, no, sis, you were dark skinned.
That's actually kind of funny, because you know what? That Exotical made a good point right there, because you do see that. You'll see women who want to wrap themselves in a certain. I'm not saying this is the case with Paris. I don't know, because like I said, these are allegations. They're saying that she's bleaching. I don't know. I've seen, I guess, the pictures that she's shown, and it does look like there's a very huge difference between, I guess, one of the pictures. I think they're going to show it as well, where she obviously appeared darker and then lighter. Could have been the lighting. I don't know. But anyway, she makes a good point in that you will have women who will portray themselves as one thing, and they still want to wrap themselves in this identity, where they're dark skinned, they're unambiguous and all that, while breaking their neck to look like anything other than who they are. So they'll be claiming to be dark skinned or whatever, and maybe they were at one point, but they're wearing so much damn makeup. I've seen this before, so that is something that's real, where they will be at the same time trying to hold on to this identity as if they're still unambiguous, but at the same time you look at them like, wait a minute, you're literally light skinned right now. You do know that, right? I mean, whether it's makeup or you're bleaching or whatever, you're actually now a light skinned person. So it's kind of weird. King seeing red in the building. Salute, bro. Said, yeah, salute to you. What he say? In the building, buck. Yeah, bro. Yeah, but let's get some more of this.
You're no longer dark skinned. You used to be dark skinned. In the tennis photo is when you were dark skinned. You're not dark skinned anymore. Since when is orange the new standard for dark skinned? It's not.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like I said, when these people are using these creams or whatever they're doing, it's not a normal light skin color, right? Like if you see someone who's just naturally light skinned, it doesn't look the same. It's almost oranges. It looks really weird. It's not a natural. Just like with those African chicks, because African chicks are normally very dark. So when they start using those type of creams or whatever, it gives them that weird orange looking color, and it looks horrible. And I can always tell when they're doing that. It's an immediate turnoff.
So stop saying you're dark skinned. It's okay. It's okay to not be dark skinned. But that's interesting how after attempting to talk all of this crap or give all of these commentaries about people like Danny Lay or Jordan Childs, calling her regular, using blackness as a weapon against Jordan Childs, saying stuff like that, talking about other women's appearances, saying that she looks better than all of us, she looks better than Exoticals, calling us worthless, hideous hybrids. Suddenly,
Rayama said, "Witch cream." Yeah, I like that. He said mercury is in there. Yeah, dude, exactly. It's all kind of crazy stuff in it, because guess what? The people who sell that, they don't give a damn if those women are poisoning themselves. They're getting a bag. It's just like what I said earlier when it came to that creamy crack that they were using, those relaxers. Man, they put all kind of wickedness in those things, man. And the sick part about it, they were selling it to the little girls, and they had these little kits growing up where these girls were being conditioned to put that bullshit in their hair, and it was known to have about dozens of carcinogenic chemicals in it. I mean, poison, literal poison, like formaldehyde and, like you said, mercury and all this type of stuff. And now they're doing it. If it wasn't bad enough to put it on their scalp and in their hair, now they can go straight to their skin, into their pores with this stuff. And like you said, mercury is very dangerous. It causes all kinds of stuff. Even I think it affects your brain function as well. It's very dangerous. So I'm glad you pointed that out, Ray, and I like the fact you called it witch cream, because that's essentially what it is.
Once we respond and actually make YouTube videos, kind of speaking from our perspective, then suddenly her whole channel is now hidden. This reminds me of Chrissy, how she left the colorism conversation as soon as the Exoticals stepped into the room.
And, oh yeah, and that's another name I hadn't heard in a while. And again, I haven't really watched any of her stuff, or allegedly, I guess the Exoticals is running the Unambiguous women off the block. Is that true? I don't know. I mean, I haven't been keeping score. Maybe we should be keeping score. But she's claiming that these women who ostensibly have even bigger channels and larger followings, she's claiming that these Exoticals are coming in and running them off the block. So, you know, either way it go, we're just here for the spectators, right? So we you know, I'm quite sure the B-dub, even if they're down, they're not out, because we know how, you know, vicious they can be. And what I find very interesting, though, is that these women, such as these Exoticals, they were put in this position based on these unambiguous black women. So the irony of this whole thing is that they have been platformed essentially by these same women that they're going in on now. And as I said before, these unambiguous black women are the ones to blame, because they have essentially given these women the pedestal or the platform, because what they wanted to do was to co-opt or to basically control the narrative of these women being the beauty standard, and they felt like they could somehow benefit from that, but essentially it didn't work, and now you have this division going on. But let's get a little bit more.
Because remember, a conversation is just people talking back and forth. And so, you know, I hope Paris Milan does come back. Paris, come back.
Yeah, she's telling her to come back. So again, I'm now I don't know what
Come back
exactly,
so we can.
I don't know exactly why Paris, I guess, hit her channel or whatever. I think there's some other videos that, you know, I'm going to play a little bit later that may speak to that, because we're going to get kind of her side as well. But it's kind of interesting that these women are going back and forth about this whole thing, when in reality they all are supposed to be on the same team against you Negroes. That's what I thought was the point, right? Whether they were Exotical or unambiguous black, I thought they were supposed to be decentering men and all this other type of goofiness. But it seems like they're decentering each other, and they can't put aside their differences to that effect, and they're having all these little skirmishes and beefs about what essentially, to me, amounts to a bunch of garbage, and they're all culpable when it comes to you know, the situation that they find themselves in. And it's just, once again, interesting to just observe these proceedings as they go. But let's get it.
Keep talking. Come back so that we can have a conversation. I mean, I have no problem with Paris Milan making YouTube videos about Jordan Childs or other women. She can.
Oh yeah, and by the way, there's another issue, I guess, with Jordan Childs is one of the Olympians. I think she was on the same team with Simone Biles, and I think the one that they were supposed to be taking her bronze away, I think she's biracial, and I think allegedly Paris Milan made a statement that this girl, because the girl claimed at one point people were telling her that she was not black and she was biracial. And then Paris Milan said that the girl looked like she was only just a regular black girl. And I guess some of these people took offense to that because allegedly to be, quote, a regular black girl is a bad thing. And so that's kind of how some other people are going to enter the chat as well, because they were kind of going a little back and forth with Paris. So it's a whole shit show. And we're here for it because we like to just dissect this type of stuff. But let's get some more.
Make as many videos as she wants. She has the right to freedom of speech, but guess what? So do I. So this reminds me of people who they throw the rock and then they hide their hand, or, you know, they try to make the other.
Yeah, King Sirius said, right. Interesting. The men stop concerns about them, so they turn on each other. Yeah. And again, bro, it's just like, as I mentioned before, just like when they get into these lesbian relationships, whenever they are, you could take men out of the equation. And according to them, since you guys are the root of all their problems, you would expect that it would be some type of utopia, regardless as to whether or not they're exotical or unambiguous. They're supposed to be a big kumbaya fest. They're supposed to be slapping five and singing and dancing and having fun, and because you're the big bad wolf, right? You're the problem. So if you're outside of the equation, then I would imagine that things should be hunky-dory for them. But apparently that's not the case. And it seems to be more chaos when you're not around. Just like when they get into those lesbian relationships, which statistically are the most violent. So I don't know. What does that tell you guys about who may be the actual problem? I'll let you figure that one out.
Person look bad, or they try to say that I'm fat, or I use a synthesized voice, which by the way, I have actually used voice changers when I first started my channel. And I change my mic all the time. And I change my editing software and all that all the time. But I would never feel so defensive or so exposed to the point where I care that much about what others think of me. So it's like, if you think I'm 500 pounds and a white woman, that's fine. If you think I'm a 500-pound mixed woman, cool. But notice how with Paris, all it took was us responding, and then boom, whole channel, hidden, gone. The money from that channel, hidden, gone.
Yeah, you said she sounds like Candace Owens. You know, I can see that, you know, but certainly that mindset is maybe similar as well, because I'm sure she may have had her share of the brats as well. I kind of get that vibe from her. And again, you never know. But yeah, I can see what you're saying, Israel. She does kind of sound like her as well. And I do see some parallels with regards to the mentality as well. So,
well, I mean, the money is not gone, but like when you're a YouTuber, your views accumulate every single day. So like when people look you up in search, or if they're watching your old videos, all of that is accumulating money and stuff. So notice how her whole channel was hidden. She has now hidden it because of the Exoticals. Isn't that insane? So we've got one content creator, Chrissy, who has left the colorism conversation now. Then we've got this other content creator, Paris Milan, who has hidden her whole entire YouTube channel. And this is all simply because all we did was state our opinions and just ask simple questions and say, hey, what about Jordan Childs makes it so that she cannot compete with non-Black Hispanic baddies? That's exactly what Paris said.
Okay, so I guess they called her on something she said, because apparently she was talking about Jordan Childs, the Olympian who's biracial. I guess she has a Black father and I think her mom's Hispanic or whatever. And I guess she said something to the effect of this woman couldn't compete with regular Latina women. And I guess a lot of people were taking that as Paris was denigrating unambiguous Black women. So it's kind of weird. But I'm going to show you this other clip when she was going in on her with regard to the bleaching. This is a short little video right here, but I'm going to show you one of the things that kicked it off right here. So check this out.
See? So even her own subscribers who have been there for a while, because like I said, she went faceless for a couple of years, and I'll show the images of kind of some of the older images.
Okay, so this is a picture that this exotical chick that she showed, and apparently, if you look at the first, the darker picture, that's her. I guess Paris used to play sports, basketball or tennis or whatever, and I guess she was out, and that looks like her normal shade. And then she showed this other one on the right, which shows her at a lighter hue. So, what do you guys think? Right? To me, it looks like just a bunch of makeup. I mean, I don't know if she's uh, bleaching or lightening her skin or whatever. I don't know, but certainly there's a difference in terms of shade. It could be, lighting. It could be a bunch of makeup, cake up, fake up. You know how they do, but apparently, I guess it got to Paris to the point where she took her channel down. So I'll let you guys be the judge.
Images of Paris Milan. And by the way, these are images that were just freely shared on Google. So yeah. Some of her own subscribers are even saying, wow, I thought you were dark skinned, like you're light. And then somebody else is saying, oh, you could pass for a house slave. And then Paris Milan is shouting into the abyss, trying to convince me that she's
a house slave. Okay, you know what? I'm glad she mentioned that. I'm going to dispel a myth real quick. And I meant to address this on another broadcast. This whole trope about the dark skinned people being in the field and the light skinned people being in the house, that's a myth. Because here's the thing. Number one, you did have dark skinned people that were servants in the house as well. And you had the majority of the field hands because, that's to run the plantation. Most of the slaves had to be in the field. I mean, they were doing the actual work. They weren't just in the cotton fields. They were doing all kind of work. They were doing farm work. They were handling animals. They were blacksmiths. They were doing metal work. They were building houses. So, the field Negroes, of course, they were mostly actual Negroes, black, people, right? Now, when it came to the lighter skinned people, they were products of the house. They wasn't just in the house. It wasn't just, someone looked out into the field and said, oh, you light skinned Negroes, you come in the house. No, those lighter skinned biracials or whatever, those were the children of a slave master. The only difference was under chattel slavery, under the one drop rule, they would enslave their own children. They didn't treat them like they would treat the field Negroes because this wasn't their blood relatives, but they would put them in the house as servants, and they would still be in a lesser state, but they were treated better. They were given better clothes and all that because they were the children of the slave master. So that's one of the misconceptions that people have, and they'll just break it down to skin tone. Say, okay, well, you lighter skinned people, you get to be in the house, and you dark skinned ones, you be out in the field. No, those lighter skinned servants were the children, the children that were not claimed in many cases, and they were not accepted, and that's the reason why they were by default treated as Negroes, but they were literally the children of the plantation workers or the overseers or whoever the white people were that were around. That's why they would end up in these more esteemed jobs, whether they were house servants or whatever, as opposed to doing the more laborious work out in the field. So I just wanted to clear that up. But let's get it.
Thinks that she's so confident and she's so bad, such a pretty girl. And it's like, Paris, if you truly believed that you were pretty, and if you truly were treated as pretty, you wouldn't have a problem actually with my content. In fact, you'd be able to relate to it, right? Because Paris, as a pretty woman, you said you're a bad bitch, right? So as a fellow pretty girl, Paris, you benefit from an ism. It's called lookism. Lookism is pretty privilege, right? So you benefit from an ism. So you'd be able to.
Oh, and this is another thing you guys may not be aware of, but when these type of clips are being sent to me and I'm looking at this stuff, I'm learning new phrases because they have this thing that they call, quote, pretty privilege, right? And I got to ask the question, what exactly is the privilege that they get outside of men for being pretty? Because at the same time, these same women are running around talking about decentering men while simultaneously talking about some type of pretty privilege. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the primary benefit that's given to, quote, pretty women comes from us, right? As men, because as men, we do like pretty women. Am I wrong? So it's kind of weird that they talk about decentering you guys every 5 minutes, but then they talk about all these benefits that come exclusively from you. It's just like when these 304s be talking about how they don't need a man, they're strong and independent, but every crumb of their daily bread comes from them getting money from dudes. It's kind of, I don't give a damn if they're an OnlyFans uh, model, if they're selling it on the street or in a strip club or whatever. Their money is coming from the same men that they claim they don't need. So it's just really weird. But you'll hear terminology like this where they talk about, quote, pretty privilege. I'm like, what the hell kind of privilege are you getting for being pretty if it's not coming from a man? Ridiculous. But let's go.
Actually relate to the content over here, would you not? So why are you so upset? If the stories that we're telling on the Exotic,
He's serious. Lookism sounds like bitch babble. I guess it means that because I've heard of featureism, right? So I guess she's saying that someone who is, I guess considered good looking, that's another ism, and someone who, I guess, who doesn't look good, they get discriminated against, something like that. But I'm kind of with you, King C and Red. They do come up with their own little goofy vernacular, but we're here for the fun.
side of YouTube are relatable to you as a pretty woman who's unambiguous, why would you be upset? If you think that Black features make someone beautiful and it makes someone pedestalized, you wouldn't be upset with my content, right? You wouldn't be threatened by it because you're receiving the same level of privilege, if not more, than people over here, right?
Yeah, so that's the end of that clip. But we got some more. Yeah, it's going to get pretty interesting. So let me see what else I got from her. Oh yeah, I'm going to play one more little piece about what she got to say. I'm going to get into some of these other people. This is at Exotic.
Just got back from the coffee shop. I am sitting here drinking my graham cracker hot oat milk latte, and I just came.
Ironic that she's drinking something with a graham cracker in it. Isn't she what would be considered a graham cracker? I don't know. Let's go.
Across some stuff that you guys were sending me. A lot of you guys have been sending me emails and screenshots. You guys have been talking your shit in the Discord because we all know that us Exoticals, we can be a little bit messy. So I'm going to make this a
no shit
part of the Creepyotical series. So on the Creepyotical series, that is where we lurk around the internet, or we're sharing screenshots.
Ooh, they're lurking around the internet. You guys think they're lurking in on us right now? I don't know. Well, welcome aboard, Shadow Exoticals. Glad you could arrive.
And seeing what is going on and seeing what people are saying about us in the YouTube streets or in the actual streets. But has anyone ever noticed that when you are considered the pretty girl, when you're considered the girl with social status, everyone's obsessed with what you're doing. People speculate about you.
That's another thing I want you guys to realize. A lot of these women, man, they are very much over stroking themselves, man. It's like a circle jerk. These women just stroking themselves. They really believe that they are more than what they are. And I blame these simps. I think that a lot of you guys over here on the Knight Riders, you know how to be cool around. You've had good looking women just like me, so it's no big deal. I've literally been with models that a lot of these women couldn't hold a candle to. But I look at all these women who, whether they don't even show themselves, but they got a ton of all kinds of arrogancy, like this woman, and claiming that people are obsessed with her. I don't know how she is in her real life, but it's kind of weird how a lot of these women, if you make a video about them, or you just doing like what we do over here, which is a kind of an analytical breakdown of what they're saying. I don't know who she's referring to. Maybe there are a bunch of people making videos, but it's kind of weird for people to put themselves out here in a public sphere, and then people talk about them. Then all of a sudden, that means people are obsessed with them. It's kind of weird. But I want you guys to pay attention to the fact that a lot of these women, they are walking around with these inflated egos, and a lot of times it's these goofy ass simps that are doing it to them, and they're blowing their heads up, and that's the reason why a lot of you run whenever you do try to holler. Hopefully, you're beyond the stage of doing the PUA type of stuff, or the with the cold approaching and all that. Now, I'm not saying if you getting, if you're in the West still, I mean, you do what you got to do, bro, until you can get somewhere where you're really comfortable. But I know how it is, even though I don't live in the West anymore. Sometimes you might just see somebody, if she's giving you choosing signals, you might want to step to her. But a lot of these women, man, if you listen to them, from what I could tell, and I haven't dealt with a lot of those women like that, with that mentality since I've lived in the States, but these women, man, they think that they are literally above you, man. You can just tell. And look what Israel said. He said they are just so vain. Yeah, everything that's coming out of their mouth is about beauty and status and all this goofy shit. And that's the reason why I titled the video the way I did. It's when beauty talk turns ugly. So for all this talk about beauty and relative status and so forth, they get very ugly with it, and what they don't understand is that one of the things that makes women attractive, at least to men, is them being humble and demure. And I don't know about you guys, but I prefer women who look good, but they act as if they don't. And I've come across a lot of women. You see a lot of women like that in Latin countries, to be honest, because you'll be with a baddie. I mean, I've been around women there, and if they were in the States, they would be nines, right? But they get down with you like they're, just a normal chick, which they are, because I don't put women on a pedestal just because they look good. But it's good to know that a woman's down to earth. I've literally dealt with women who have been models, and they were cool, man. We got, what's her name? Michaela, not demure. Well, first of all, salute to you for being in the building, because you're over here with the Knight Riders, and we go hard and heavy. So for a woman to be able to be over here with us, salute to you, because we heavy hitters over here. But yes, I meant exactly what I said, demure. A woman who is demure and who has a sense of class about herself, where she's humble and she's not all arrogant, that's very unattractive. And the women need to understand that. I don't give a damn if you are a 9. If you are running around thinking you a bad bitch, and you all that goofy ass mentality that these modern women have, you get, on my rating, you get knocked down immediately 2 points. If you are 9, you're a freaking 7 because of your mouth. It is men, those of us who are actually provider, masculine men, we don't like women who are arrogant. That's masculine energy. Women are supposed to be very reserved and demure and laid back. You're not supposed to be out here beating your chest like a dude. That's very unattractive. And what did she say? She said, hey y'all, and yes, the word is funny. Yeah, but it's appropriate, because that is what a woman's supposed to be. See, as a woman, you're supposed to embrace that word. It's funny that you think it's funny, because you probably never had a man tell you that before, that you're supposed to be demure. And if you don't know what it means, then look it up, because that's exactly the way you women are supposed to be. You're not supposed to be out here acting like you're big bad and you're ready to kick ass and take names and do all this stuff, just like what's going on between this Exoticals in Paris. They're talking all this madness to each other like they're dudes, and I feel it's ridiculous. And then Ray says, meek and quiet she must be. Exactly. He came with the Yoda speak. He said, meek and quiet she must be. Exactly. And then Israel says, LOL, the shadow exotical came out. Yeah. I don't know what you are, Kaylee. Are you an exotical? I can't tell from a picture. I got like 3 screens up, but I don't have you on my bigger screen. So are you on, what side are you on? Are you on the unambiguous side, or are you on the exotical side? Because we get you ladies coming through, especially when we have these subjects. either they shadow watch or they like to, sometimes they'll come into the chat like you. So salute to you for coming into the Lion's Den like you have. But are you an exotical or are you unambiguous? And then King C and Red says he's laughing. He's laughing at Israel. Yeah, Israel crazy. But anyway, let's get a little bit more what she's got to say.
Speculate about what you look like. What is your life like? Who follows you? What is your YouTube channel like? And so you guys are showing me this YouTube channel named Miss Elite, and I know that she is not a supporter of the exotical community. What?
Oh, and by the way, yeah, that's another one that I saw some. I think we got one clip of her. Because we're gonna, for the sake of balance, we're gonna show some other people that are kind of, in on this too, because it's primarily between Paris and this exotical, the one that's speaking now. But there's a couple other YouTubers as well that kind of got in on it, and one of them is that Miss Elite chick. I don't know whether she's I guess she's representing the unambiguous side because she's got an issue with this exotical chick, but we're gonna play a little bit of her as well.
Whatsoever. She's definitely an Exoticals United hater, but that's okay. My channel is not supposed to be for everyone. It's only supposed to be for those who.
So, and again, I guess anybody that disagrees with any of these women, then you're automatically a hater, right? So, anyway,
can relate to it. But this person says, so she starts off by talking about like Paris Milan's makeup. She's saying where they get lighter makeup, I think it's the makeup, where they get lighter makeup for the center to put focus on their best features. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, it's a bronzer trend where you appear darker or less is more makeup look. I've been wearing zero makeup and on the rare bronzer, and people love it. Trends come and go. I may just go back to lipstick with a touch of bronzer. So she's trying to imply that Paris Milan looking 15 shades lighter is makeup.
Yeah, so I guess she's defending the elite chick is defending the picture that this exotical posted. Remember the picture we just showed where she was clearly darker and then lighter on the other side. So, Paris got her supporters as well. So she's, I guess, trying to debunk whether or not she lightened herself. But anyway.
And I actually want to talk about that because even if it was makeup, which I don't believe it is, but even if.
Okay, and then Kalea, I guess that's her name, says, honestly, I like to hear both sides. I'm not an enemy. Yeah. But I mean, what are you though? Do you identify yourself as an exotical? Or do you identify yourself as unambiguous? If I had to guess, I mean, looking at the little picture I see, I guess you look more exotical, but that could be makeup. So I just want to know from you what you would consider yourself.
If it was, why are so many dark-skinned Black women wearing makeup 15 shades lighter? Why are you putting on?
She actually raises a good question there. And again, we're unbiased. Remember, we're sitting in the skybox. We're just observing this. I don't take a side on either one. Back in the day, when I was trying to warn them, I was maybe leaning more towards the unambiguous women because, as you guys know, I do prefer, male-aided women. But when it comes to their mentality, now they're kind of on their own. And I've noticed that some of my talking points have been permeating because I brought out the fact of the Eve gene. I've heard people reciting that and certain other little things that I've said. So that's cool. They can come over here and get little talking points, and that's cool. But when it comes to this little debate that they have going on, I don't necessarily take a side, but if they make a good point, I'll rock with it. And just like this exotical just said, she pretty much brought out the fact that a lot of these women who claim to be a certain thing or to be advocates, they are still wearing makeup that's 15 shades lighter. So that kind of undermines their point. But let's get a little bit more.
On light skin filters just to talk shit to exoticals or just to feel pretty. And then at the same time, you don't want to give exoticals their exotical tax. And by the way, I have no.
So I guess there's a such thing as an exotical tax as well. So I'm telling you, man, these women in their terminology, bro.
Problem if people like how we look or if they think we're beautiful.
So they're talking about taxing each other, pimping each other, telling each other to bow down. So all this is going on. And meanwhile, you guys ain't got nothing to do with this, right? We're just observing this from a distance, giving our analysis, but all of this foolery and fuckery is going on, and you guys ain't got nothing to do with it. But somehow, some way, you're the problem, though, right? And then Israel says this stuff just gets more weird. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it's a rabbit hole. He said vain creatures, exactly.
If they want to look like us, I actually have no problem with that. The only thing I have a problem with is extreme hypocrisy, such as bullying people or being mean to people or saying they're ugly, they're mid, they're average, they're regular, they can't compete with non-Hispanic or non-Black Hispanic baddies, and then turning around and trying to look like those very same people. Those are the only ones I call out. I don't call out just regular everyday women who want to look like exotic.
All right. Kalea says, oh, I don't go by either, but if I had to choose, I'd be ambiguous. I'm Caribbean and Scottish, and you can call me Michaela. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was having an issue pronouncing your first name, but thank you for the clarification. Let's continue.
Articles, because I don't care about that. But I want to get into this comment. This girl says, them exotic channels are weird to me. They basically use Black women they hate. So she's saying that our channels are somehow using Black women and that we're using them to make content. Kind of like how the Black women empowerment and Black celebrity content creators use mixed race women and exoticals to make content.
She got a point there, because that was my whole point initially, which was, yo, that's kind of how they were using these women as Trojan horses to put them out there as the standard for beauty, while simultaneously turning around saying where they wasn't Black. So she has a good point there. So if these exoticals are online now, kind of reversing it and trying to come up off of some of these more established channels, say like Paris Milan, oh, okay, I guess turnabout is fair play in that regard. So again, because we're unbiased and we're just in our imperial skybox looking down on the gladiatorial combat before us, we can acknowledge when one of them has a good point, because it doesn't matter to us, right? But I think that was a good point what she said right there. And then King C and Red says, sounds like school days jigaboos versus wannabes. You know what? I got that clip and I keep forgetting to play it. I didn't load it today, but I think the next time we touch on this subject, I'm gonna have to play that clip. I do have it, King C and Red. Shout out to you for reminding me.
Look at the Impressive channel, for example. She has 1 million subscribers. She talks about mixed race women all the time. Nobody cares. Lovely T, she talks about mixed race women and light skinned women all the time and makes commentary and throws shade. Even if you look at a lot of the Black media outlets, like the Shade Room, I think it's like Neighborhood Talk is one of them. And then a lot of the Black empowerment channels like Queen Chama, Paris Milan, Chrissy, they make commentary all the time on celebrities that have my phenotype. So why is that not using exoticals? But suddenly, if we create our own channels and create responses and talk about the social dynamics between us and unambiguous Black women, suddenly it's a problem. So do you see, once again, this repeated rhetoric of, I can dish it out, but I can't take it back? And by the way, this is a sociology Blackness-centered channel. So who else would I talk about? This is my YouTube channel, bitch. I get to talk about whatever I want. This person.
Does it mean she just sounds funny as hell talking like that? But anyway, but again, I can give somebody credit for making a good point. But let's get some more here. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, she mentioned this chick called Miss Elite, and I think she was kind of defending her. So we're gonna get another side of this as well. So let me play that. Paris took her channel down, so we didn't get a chance to get
Launched.
I don't think we got a chance to get clips from Paris's channel because, as has been mentioned, she did hide it. So we're just kind of going to get some third-party commentary from her. But this particular woman is, I believe, an advocate for Paris. So we did play a good part of what the Exoticals said, but now we're going to get more into what the alternative viewpoint is. And this particular woman by the name of Miss Elite, she's pretty much on the side of the Paris Milan. So, I didn't introduce her correctly, but here we go.
Here comes a new challenger.
Yeah, so we got a new challenger here outside of the Paris and Exoticals. So this is another person. So let's get it.
Her channel is hidden. I do not believe that she deleted her channel, but she hid it. I think because she doesn't want people to still keep commenting on the situation between her and EU at all. And she's likely been lurking around YouTube, looking at different videos, reading comments, and she didn't like what she see.
Black woman, and I came across this one dude. He sounds like he's from the rainbow community, and his name was Pop. Very interesting videos, and he said, yeah, I do remember Chrissy's videos that she hid.
That's not me slowing it down, by the way. That's her effect. So I'm just to let you know.
Talking about light-skinned black women like a dog. I was there.
But she has a lot of supporters.
Oh, you like that? Yeah, we're gonna, whenever we introduce them, we're gonna bring in a new challenger. So yeah, I had to give you guys a little some effects right there. But anyway, let's go.
She has a lot, and by habit, I mean people who are really, really popular, they usually focus on the negative and not the positive, and we have to all work on that, because you have like a huge fan base who are saying, hey, you're beautiful, you're this, you're that, but they'll look at the negative comments that are saying otherwise. So I believe Paris Milan hid her channel to take a break, see what she's going to try to do. Maybe allegedly I heard something about the law or something with legal stuff.
So again, now it's getting even more ugly, because apparently, I guess Paris has threatened legal action. So again, you got this catfighting going on, and we're here for it. We're analyzing this whole thing, and it's crazy how out of hand it gets. Because on the one hand, they're supposed to all be talking about beauty, and whether it's the unambiguous beauty or the exotical beauty, but somehow, some way, it turns ugly. They're going at each other. They're pulling each other's weave and hair out. They're threatening legal action. So they're calling each other, bitches, and saying that they're gonna pimp each other, and it's getting kind of crazy. But again, we're just sitting in our Imperial skybox looking at the proceedings. Shadow Zulu in the building. I thought about you when I did the opening. We had to do the BBD poison opening, so I did that for you, Shadow, because I think you said you wanted to see it before. I played it before, but I felt that this was appropriate as well. So shout out to Shadow Zulu. And then he says, E-Man Perry, salute to them. Yeah. So glad you could join us. Well, let's get a little bit more.
Or she's just going to just take a breather and then come back. She's definitely going to come back. She worked too hard to get those numbers on her channel, to get that many views and things like that, to just simply delete the whole thing. Once they delete the whole channel, then okay, you can believe that. And sometimes they come back anyway, but still, she worked too hard to get those type of numbers and subscribers to just simply up and leave permanently. So trust and believe she's not gone 100%. And this is not over, I believe. I think that, in my opinion, I think Paris Milan is going to be working on some things to see if it works in her favor, kind of like what Chrissy tried to do through YouTube. I think Paris is going to go through a different route. But for now, I think she's just going to hide her channel like she did.
And that's another thing that's characteristic. A lot of times when you catch women dead to rights, when you have a point and when they can no longer defend themselves, the normal default position is for them is to flee. It's kind of like, think of the Maury Povich shows, right? When the DNA tests come back, you are not the father, then they run off the stage, right? So I've noticed that it's being consistent. And that's the reason why, as men, we got to not take them as seriously as some of you guys take them, because when the going gets tough, even someone who allegedly, with Paris, she's a much bigger YouTuber. And I think people put too much emphasis on the numbers of subscribers, because whether you have a good point or not is that's not relevant to that. Because look at the type of work we do over here. We got people who got millions of subscribers that come listen to us biting our style. So the size of the subscribers don't mean anything. So apparently, Paris, I guess, felt like her back was against the wall because a lot of people were, I guess, siding with the Exotical when she was accusing her of bleaching, or when she made this point about this other person. So it's kind of weird, but I just find it very interesting, the dynamic that goes on when women get into it. But let's go. Oh, and by the way, Shadow says Proverbs 28, the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Exactly. And then Israel says, Shadow Zulu Shalom. Yeah. Shadow Zulu be dropping those bars, dropping those verses, man. Nobody, y'all don't know about that though. But anyway.
And then just take a breather and like, okay, like I think Paris Milan, in my opinion, might want some little revenge. Like, how can I get this person who caused all this drama on my end about my skin tone? What is she gonna do?
Okay, well, if she does, then guess what, guys? I'll give you a sneak preview. If Paris or the unambiguous black women wage a counter strike against the Exoticals, then we're going to make that part 3 of the Secret War series, and it's going to have a Star Wars theme. It's going to be Revenge of the Sith, not Revenge of the Sith, S-I-T-H, like the movie is Revenge of the Sith, the Sis, S-I-S, like the sisterhood. So if Paris comes back, it's going to be episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So that's going to be the next Secret Wars episode, depending on if she comes back and counter strikes against these Exoticals. So we'll see how that all pans out, but let's get it. Oh, by the way, I think there's another entry in. Let me see. Yeah, there's another person who was, I guess, taking the side of the Exotical, because this woman who just spoke, she was taking basically Paris's side, but there's another one as well that we came across who I think Paris is threatening to sue her as well. So I'm going to see if I can pull her up. Give me one moment. Let me take this one down. And let me clear these out.
Milan's channel. Her channel is hidden.
No, that was that one. So let me move this out right here. Okay, yeah. So this is another one who was, I believe, defending the Exotical, and Paris also went after her. I think her name is it's spelled K-O-L-E-Y, Koi, or I don't know, but anyway, this chick right here, she was going in with Paris as well. So, oh, by the way, let me bring her to the stage properly. Bring her to the stage.
Here comes a new challenger.
Like I said, it's like a game to us, so we gotta bring in those old school theatrics. So let's bring her to the stage. Hold on.
Seriously, you know what? I've got something to say.
So I think her name is Coley or whatever. But anyway, apparently, because we seen this one popped up because she made a video, and the name of this video is Paris is threatening to sue her. So we felt that was interesting. So we snatched this video, but it's pretty interesting. So we're gonna play a little bit what she has to say. So let's get it.
What's good?
I don't know what side she's on. I mean, she's taking the side of the Exotical. I don't know if she considers herself Exotical. I don't know if that's a weave in her head. I don't know. These women are confusing these days. Maybe she considers herself unambiguous, or she's just siding with the Exotical. I don't know, but we're just going to take a look at what she has to say. So let's get it.
Guys, hope you guys are good. Let me tell you guys about how I actually started watching Paris Milan. Okay. I was watching Paris because at the time I was looking for a space. I had seen Chrissy's content, and you know how it works. Like after you've been watching a certain type of content, other content creators come up. And Paris Milan was someone that I started watching. And initially, I enjoyed her content. I liked how she would talk on difficult issues. I was actually grateful that there was someone talking about certain issues pertaining to...
You caught me off guard with that one. Okay, if you want to go ahead and rate them, be my guest. I guess you couldn't rate the other ones because they didn't show themselves. But since she is, yeah, I guess she's fair to be rated as well. But she said something interesting here is that I guess she was a fan of Paris initially. So I find that interesting because I guess the content that attracted these women like moths to a flame was when she was going in like Cynthia G on the black men. And again, I was not familiar with a lot of what Paris was talking about. The videos that would pop that I would see every once in a while, it looks like she would take celebrities, black guys, and then kind of extrapolate what they were doing to black men in general. Like if some guy did something goofy or stupid, then all of a sudden it's these black men, the typical stuff like Cynthia G and whatnot. So I guess a woman like her right here, she was attracted to that type of content. But the moment Paris says something she didn't like, now she's going in on her. And I find that very interesting. They can poke all kind of holes in the logic of a Paris Milan and a Cynthia G or whoever once they start saying things that are not in line with their particular brand of ideology, but they can't see the flaws in the things that they say about you guys. I just find that very peculiar. And so Zulu gives her a 6. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, by the way, Israel says always got to rate the women. Okay. Be my guest.
The black community, more specifically black women. And I was like, yeah, there we go. Difficult topics. I might not agree with everything she says, but these are difficult topics. And these are things that need to be talked about. And what really stood out to me personally was the topic of colorism, because it was something that I had experienced. So to see it being discussed, I was like, yeah, this is great. Having a safe space.
And I find it interesting that, all of these women, they talk about their experiences with colorism, which is very interesting to me because it seems like they want to corner the market on it as if they were the only ones. And those of us who can remember growing up, a lot, before a lot of you guys' time, a lot of the colorism was geared against black men, right? And they tend to forget that. They just want to look at black men as the purveyors of the colorism. Meanwhile, they ignore the fact that a lot of the times that the men are colorists is because their mothers raised them to be such because of the internalized hatred that these women have. And once again, I'm going to cite a popular example, which is Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, who his mother, which is Beyonce's grandmother, told him specifically not to bring a black nappy-headed woman home. Hence the reason why he went out and sought Atina Knowles to produce Beyonce, because his mother instilled in him that she didn't want him to bring home a dark-skinned woman, but that was something that he was programmed by his mother. And it's always the mother who is instilling this into the children and perpetuating this colorism. But for some reason, these women can't seem to put two and two together and acknowledge the fact that there's colorism that still exists and that it's regenerating is because of them. And it's funny how they always want to play the victim, but they can never own the responsibility that they have with the whole process. But let's go.
Having a space to talk about things pertaining to the black community that I've either witnessed, experienced personally.
King Red is a savage. He's even rating the woman's picture. Michaela in the building. Yeah, she probably don't understand what she's doing, but I warned her. I said, well, if she had the courage to come into the den of lions, any woman that does, we welcome you. You know, that's cool. You're welcome to come over. But, you know, these guys may feel the need to rate you based on your picture. So I'm just letting you know. Well, y'all crazy, bro. But anyway, let's go.
And I was pleased to see it. I was pleased to see it. Now, again, I'm not saying I agree with everything she said, but I will say that I did like the fact that certain things were being discussed. But never did I think I would see the day where someone...
Yeah, you got you. Claire, you got to watch your back over here. They'll get you.
Who is supposedly a advocate for Black women would turn around and call me a Black woman, a Black mammy, because I shared my opinion on her commentary.
And that's another thing. See, look at the long list of pejoratives and insults that they're giving each other. And once again, they're misusing the term, because we know historically what a mammy is. And that's the term that they typically throw each other, just like pick me. And we got a couple of pick-me's that rock out with us. You know, shout out to the pick-me's. I don't know if Michaela is a pick-me, but we welcome the pick-me's over here. We got the pick-me nation over here. So you're all welcome if you're a pick-me. We rock with you over here. But they have all these names that they call each other, like mammies, just because they feel like they're not part of the sisterhood. So apparently Paris was calling this woman a mammy, which I don't know if she was defending Black men or whatever, but I guess she was calling her a mammy simply because she was disagreeing with her. But it's just kind of weird how they reserve all these misused and misnomers, because they'll misapply a term like mammy, which we all know historically what a mammy is, and they'll call other Black women that simply because they don't toe the line of the sisterhood. So it's kind of funny. But let's go.
In relation to Jordan Charles, where I felt, again, if you haven't seen this before, I'll link it in the description and you can look there.
Yeah, Kingston and Ray, I think you're talking about Michaela. Yeah, she is a good sport. If she can hang over here, a lot of women can't, so we gotta give her credit where it's due. Kingston and Ray says Black mammy pick is a 2. Now I know you did not just rank the damn mammy picture. Kingston and Ray, you're going too far now, bro.
Where I felt that the way in which Paris Milan was going about bringing Jordan Charles down to size, which we all know is...
Now, Ram's not here to defend. He might be shadow watching, I don't know, but Ram's not here to defend himself. Now, we know Ram will smash depending on the situation, but I don't think he'll do the mammy, though. Come on, we got to give Ram some credit. I don't know if he'll smash the mammy. You might be right, though. I don't know.
Exactly what she was trying to do. The fact that she used...
Who says he gives Michaela a 6 with... Is that with soap? Oh, my goodness. You guys, man.
Used the image of Blackness, the image of Black women to do it. Bothered me. It bothered me. Highlighting how Black this girl looks to say, you're not it, Jordan. You just start lying, like you're a liar, like no one got you confused.
Israel saying, Red, I did not expect that from you. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, she don't understand the lingo, y'all. See, like I said, she over here with the Knight Rider. She don't know that there's a whole nother lingo over here, and it's it's crazy. But they don't mean any disrespect. They're being them. That's how they are over here.
Used for not being Black. No one questioned whether you were mixed, like you just look Black. That there, to me, and to many others, as I can now see, was offensive, to say the least. And what it did was it highlighted something that I wouldn't expect from someone who is supposedly...
Yeah, that's because a lot of these guys are from other our brother channel by the name of Black Ram. He has a whole rating system, and it's too difficult to explain. So you just it just has to come over time, and then you'll understand. But yeah,
a confident Black woman who is doing work for Black women and is an advocate for Black women. And I was disappointed. Because no one that loves.
What do you mean you down and out? Yeah, I mean, that's probably why you're saying you're going to get with the mammy in the picture. Man, it must be one of those nights, Israel. I gotta admit that if that's the case.
Themselves. No one that loves being a Black woman, no one that loves Black women would use the image of Black women to put someone down. Just wouldn't happen. So my commentary, me saying that, led to me being referred to as a Black mammy. Now let's look at what a Black mammy is. See, I was going to keep it light, but why not? It's a serious topic, isn't it? So what is a Black mammy? Let's have a look. Jim Crow Museum, okay?
What's been years for you, Israel? Are you giving a confession tonight?
So a mammy is the most well-known and enduring racial caricature of African American women. So from slavery through the Jim Crow era, the mammy.
And by the way, if you guys can't tell from my accent, I believe this chick right here is in the UK. I guess from the accent, but that's another reason why it's kind of weird that she'd be called a mammy, which is an American, concept on a plantation. So it's just weird how these women kind of misappropriate terms, but we know how that is.
The mammy image served the political, social, and economic interests of mainstream white America. During slavery, the mammy caricature was posited as proof that Black people, in this case, Black women, were contented, even happy at being enslaved.
Yeah, fast forward because I think we know what a mammy is, being from America. So let's get a little bit more here.
On top of it, that's crazy. So let's figure out why you felt the need to add on there Black mammy. Like, we don't know that that's what a mammy already is. Was that you again, Paris, trying to make an attempt at using Blackness to put me down? It didn't work. I love being Black. But
so I guess that was the point that this particular individual was making, and how she entered the chat was because when it came to that Olympic mixed lady, because I guess Paris used the term regular to describe her, then she took an issue with that, and she made a video to which Paris responded to her. I think I got the clip where Paris responded to her. I think she might play it, but I find it interesting that at the very hint of Paris saying something that could be deemed negative about them, then they're jumping ship. Meanwhile, she can take you guys' image through the ringer with all kind of propaganda, and then they love that. But even I don't even think that Paris may even meant anything negative by it. From what I saw in the clip, she was just describing that lady in the Olympian, the gymnast, that she pretty much just looked like what she considered a regular Black girl, meaning she was she didn't look ambiguous, right? She looked unambiguous, right? So she framed it as her being regular, but this particular lady and others took that to mean that Paris was basically denigrating Black women, right? And so the thing that I find so fascinating is they have a very much a low tolerance to any perceived form of disrespect or anything that may seem like they're not being elevated or put on a pedestal, but they have a very high tolerance for your image to be ran through the mud. And that's the reason why we create these type of broadcasts, so that we can push back at the propaganda. But let's get a little bit more of what she got to say.
The fact that you would go to such lengths to use such a derogatory term that you know is harmful and hurtful to Black women and still hurts Black women, because it's an insult. The fact that you would go there just because you don't like that another Black woman has an opinion about your opinion.
But you see that, fellas? So they're going back and forth all because they have disagreements. And then there's accusations of, people brightening their skin. There's threats of people getting sued. All this is coming from differences of opinion amongst them. Because remember, you guys ain't got nothing to do with this, or no other guys. They can't blame you for this, right? So we're just, as these casual observers, breaking this all down. It's very clear that they don't need you to be in the mix for there to be all kind of chaos and problems and fighting and bickering amongst them, right? So it's just always very interesting how you get blamed for everything when even when you're not in the mix, somehow there's always a problem. So it's just kind of funny to me, but let's get it.
Another Black woman wanted to defend the image of Black women. That a Black woman had something to say about your disparaging comments and how harmful it was to the image of Black women.
But again, they are so hypersensitive when it comes to their image being disparaged, and they could make Paris this huge YouTuber because of their support when she's going in on denigrating your image. There's no problem with that. But at the slightest infraction, they're ready to throw her under the bus to the point where she's got to hide her channel because they're all going in on her. It's not even just her. Apparently, it's a bunch of other, the followers of Paris. They were in the comments section apparently, and they were going in on her so bad that she had to hide her channel. So it's crazy.
A true advocate of Black women don't do that. It is pathetic. And now, what's interesting is there are more people talking about how childish and distasteful your response was.
I know I look better than you. The F, I am your master, I am your pimp, you will bow down.
Stop it. Get some help.
And now.
So she played the clip right there, and that's what I said earlier, right? I'm going to play it again. She played the clip of what Paris said. She that was her response. So you see how they talk to each other, right? I'm going to play that again because she put that little clip in here, including the little Jordan clip too. So let's get it.
A true advocate of Black women don't do that. It is pathetic. And now, what's interesting is there are more people talking about how childish and distasteful your response was.
I know I look better than you. The F, I am your master, I am your pimp, you will bow down.
Stop it.
So again, don't they accuse you guys of doing that kind of stuff? But that's what they do to each other. It's crazy.
Get some help.
And now, after how you went on, all it took was for someone to share a picture of you from back in the day showing a skin tone on you that we've not recently seen on you, and all hell breaks loose. And now you feel like you're being bullied and attacked and all this jazz. Mean girls never win, Paris. See, it was all fun and games when you were dishing out your nonsense on people. It was all fun and games when you...
No, it was all fun and games for all of you chicks when her, Cynthia G, and the like were going in on Black men, disparaging Black men's image. Then it's all good. There's never this type of, pushback when it comes to that, no matter how ridiculous, no matter how outlandish, no matter how inaccurate, because again, I haven't been following any of what they've been doing. I just kind of been seeing it in passing, but what I could gather is that this formula was the same, whether it's that Chrissy chick, Cynthia G, or Paris. It seems to me like from a distance, they would take certain isolated incidents of celebrities, Black men doing foolery, and then they would take that. It's like one guy decides he wants to get with a Becky. See, this is who they choose right here. And then all of a sudden, all you guys are chasing some broke down Becky, or whatever the case is. They would take these issues, these instances, and then paint a broad brush and put all you guys under the same net. That's what it looked like to me. But they were perfectly fine with it. Just like what this woman just said, she had no problem with her up until this point. You know, she was a follower. They had no problem with her. All of the disparaging things that may have been put out on black men's image, that was fine and dandy. But the moment one of them says something negative, or as they perceive to be negative against the quote black woman's image, then all hell breaking loose. It's crazy.
You were disparaging people's images. It was all fun and games when you were taking a piss out of people. It was all fun and games when you were coming for people and saying how ugly everyone is. It was all fun and games when you did it. It was all fun and games. It was all fun and games when you'd use pictures to describe people in such a horrible way.
That's crazy. I think Dee would like that one. She says, clapping back at the mid-racial, what is that? Breakup season, worst horoscopes, whatever. But anyway, I guess it's a video that Paris Milan posted going in on the biracial, that she calls them racials. So she screenshotted it, and look at that picture she has depicting the biracial. So that's crazy. But anyway,
it was all fun and games, wasn't it? When you did it. And then when people stood up and said, you know what, actually, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This is bullying, or this is really immature, or this isn't a good look for us black women. This is a problem. Now all of a sudden you feel like you're being attacked. And what's happened now? Now that it hasn't gone your way, now that your response, where you were calling people unattractive and ugly and really going on and on about how you're better than everybody and running my money and telling everyone to bow to you because you're a pimp and whatever other.
But look, that's how. So she's telling them to bow down and she's a pimp and all that. But again, isn't that the same type of stuff that they're accusing you guys of doing? And it's like Israel hit the nail on the head. It's projection. So that's why I want you guys to see this kind of stuff. So don't ever feel bad about this propaganda that they're trying to put on your image, because the moment they go in on each other, they go hard in the paint, and they be worse to each other than they're accusing you of being. And it's crazy, because once you're out of the equation, you would expect the things to be, like I said, sunshine and rainbows and all of this type of stuff. But meanwhile, it looks like it goes all downhill, even amongst themselves. So it's really, really interesting.
Childish nonsense you were spewing, because it didn't work out, because it didn't go your way. Now you're getting all hot and bothered to the point where I'm scrolling through my comments, my comment notifications, and then I see this. So Paris Milan says, this is my backup channel from my main channel, Paris Milan. I'm giving you 24 hours to remove this comment that is doxing my full government name, which is not public knowledge. Now, funnily enough, I can't see the full message, because every time I went to open it, it would just disappear and go straight back to my normal comments. And I was wondering why that was. And I was like, what comment? What is she on about? Then I realized it was a comment that you, Paris, have obviously already requested be removed, so I couldn't even see the comment. But I'm glad to know you were scrolling through my comments. Man, this has really affected you, hasn't it? What else did you have to say? So
I guess there was a commenter that put Paris's name out there allegedly, which is wrong. You know, I don't know. You know, like I said, I didn't see that, but apparently, I guess one of the commentators on this chick's page right here put her full name out. All right. So I guess that's the grounds by which she's saying she's going to sue her. But if someone else placed the comment, I don't know if she could sue her for that, you know, unless she highlighted it or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's get it.
Your page on your video, someone brought this to my attention. You have a pinned comment under your latest video, which I haven't even watched. Many people are telling me to ignore, but at this point, I have no choice but to respond. My full government name was doxed on another wannabe exotical channel by a black male, and she hearted the comment. Oh no, she didn't heart the comment, did she? Nobody made this personal. You made this personal. You made it personal with your verbal attacks and your name calling. It is not a good look. It's not a good look whatsoever. You can disparage people. You can say the most awful things about people while saying you're a representative of black women. And I'll tell you now, I would not want to be represented by you. I don't want to be represented by you. I refuse to be represented by you. Because who in the hell says something like this? And this is about biracial people. You said you worthless, hideous hybrids have been...
Man, so she going in on them hybrids, and there's going to be something interesting in this I'm going to point out. And once again, I wish D was in the building, but salute to D. I'm sure you're going to watch the playback. I think he would like this little tirade. But anyway.
Lying and whining for years. And yet black women have supported you despite your envy and deception. I'm so happy you're exposing what many of us have been saying all along, that you're no different than your degenerate, self-hating fathers. Your sick, recessive genes have you thinking you're a colonizer when even the colonizers want absolutely nothing to do with you, to the point they don't even claim you no identity having savages. Remember, you would cease to exist without me, so continue to bow down. What is your obsession with people bowing, man? No one's bowing. Just get over it. No one's...
That is funny, though. Yeah, she's telling these biracials to bow down to her. But anyway.
Bowing. You will never have a voice over here, but thank you for running the checkup this month with your tragic mulatto tears. Shout out to the chill biracials with black mums, but the rest of you descendants of Bum Kwan and Bikisha can kick and swallow rocks.
Now, the thing that I find interesting about that tirade that she went on against the biracials, if you guys notice, she went in on the biracials, but the ones who have black fathers and white mothers. Did you catch that? Meanwhile, what she said could apply to any biracial, regardless as to whether or not the mother was white and the father was black, or the father was white and the mother was black. But I guess she believes that the ones with the black mom who may have been cultured as black women, or maybe more black woman identify, even though they're just as biracial as the ones that she just went in on, somehow she's giving them a pass, which exposes further the hypocrisy, right? So she's going in on them, and it's crazy. And Israel says this is what happens when you're an EPL. Yeah. And for the people in the back, let them know what EPL is again, Israel. And Shadow Zulu's like biracial Panther remix. Yes. We need to see that movie, Shadow Zulu. Since you brought that up, I still want to see Biracial Panther. But, it's just kind of funny that she went in on that ruthless tirade about the biracials, but somehow she was able to compartmentalize it to only apply to biracials with black fathers and non-black mothers. But somehow nothing she said applies to the magical biracials who have black mothers and non-black fathers. So it's just kind of weird, but let's continue.
And you...
Yes, EPL, European Paradigm Lover, exactly. Which simultaneously they're pro-black too. So remember, they're pro-black while being EPL.
You have the audacity to be threatening legal action against creators that don't agree with what you've had to say recently. You. Seriously. You're trying to threaten me with legal action. Seriously. Well, what did you say? What did you say again? I'm giving you 24 hours.
Yeah, shout out to the groundhog effect. I've used that before myself, but let's get it.
Avaris, you don't scare me. I'm not intimidated by you.
Prairie dog, I meant to say.
Like, at all. My suggestion, though, is that you humble yourself and that you stop being a bully on the internet and handle yourself with more class. That's my suggestion.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good advice for all involved to heed. But again, I have to circle back and say, well, where was all of this accountability about class and not using all these stereotypes? Where was all of that energy when and women like her were going in on your image, black men? That's all I want to know. That was perfectly fine. And again, these women create these monsters. They get behind these women, they with all their flaws, just like how these unambiguous black women basically gave the platforms and the pedestals to these exoticals, and now it's coming around biting them in their BBL asses, and then all of a sudden all hell's breaking loose. I just find it so remarkable. But anyway, I think that's enough of her. I think we got one more challenger before we in the proceedings here. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been fun to present this because it's really kind of crazy, but I just wanted you guys to see how the other half lives over there. So we got another entry. I think our final entry to this battle royale, as it would appear, and we're going to bring her to the stage here. And this is another one who I believe is taking the side of Paris. This one obviously was taking the side of the Exoticals. And yeah, so let's get this other one up in here.
Here comes a new challenger!
Okay, so we're going to load in this one right here. Oh, and this one goes by the interesting moniker of Coco Gonna Tell It. Okay, so these women in their names, right? So we're gonna get what Coco Gonna Tell It. We're gonna see what she has to say. And she's saying that the exotical chick, the one that we played in the beginning, that she's afraid of her. So, she's putting her hat in the ring and she's challenging the exotical chick because this lady right here, Coco Gonna Tell It, we came across her stuff because she's in the Unambiguous camp, because these videos are popping up all over the place, and a lot of the ones that are unambiguous, they'll use names like cocoa and chocolate and all that, fudge brownie and all that kind of stuff. But she's pretty much going in on the exotical, so we'll see what she's got to say to take us home. But let's go.
Coco gonna tell it, and I'm sure gonna tell it to you. Now, I know y'all here for a good time, not a long time, so I'm gonna keep y'all here for a good time. But what I need y'all to do is hit the notification bell to be notified every time I drop a video, okay? I know y'all here for a good.
And speaking of notifications, yeah, you guys make sure you hit the bell on us, because I know a lot of you guys may not be getting the notifications as I opened up the broadcast, letting you guys know there's some funny business going on with the channel. It looks like they're kind of slowing down our views, rolling back views and slowing up subscribers. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, so make sure that you're getting your notifications as well. So she just had it. She just reminded me of that, but let's get it.
Time, not a long time, so I'm gonna keep y'all here for a good time. We gotta talk about some things, right? Because Miss Exotical did a video backtracking, popping, and explaining too much, and she was just lying and pulling stuff out of her butt, right? First of all, she lied about Paris being insecure by being dark skinned. That's a lie. And she's being willingly leading people astray and trying to say things that was not said on Paris live stream, because I watched the whole thing. So Paris said that I have not skin bleached, right? She showed photos to back it up. Look, I got makeup on. I'm in a lit area, but I'm a brown skinned woman. Paris has always said that. I've been watching Paris for years. This is not, Cocoa just now stumbled on Paris. I was watching Paris when she first.
Oh, so I guess she pronounces her name Cocoa. Okay, I thought it was Coco. Silly me. But anyway, she's another one that was a fan, and I guess she still is a fan of Paris, so she's defending her. So she's obviously in lockstep with some of the things that Paris has said with regard to, I guess, you guys' image. So I just find it interesting that you have this friction going on between these women, and you have one side who's divided among, on the side of the Exoticals, because apparently they feel as though Paris has denigrated, and these are actual women who identify with being black, not just being Exotical, just like the previous video that I showed. So she's alienated part of them, but she still has her staunch, diehard fans like this Coco chick right here. So we're going to play a little bit more what she has to say. And Shadow Zulu says, I prefer Chanel with, or I prefer a channel with 10,000 real subscribers than a channel with 10 million bots. Exactly. So over here, yeah, we do the real thing over here. Salute to Shadow Zulu. Let's get it.
Came out and barely had subscribers, y'all. That's how long I've been in like the black woman YouTube sector. I was when Paris did not exist, Cynthia G did not exist, when it was Kendall St. Charles and the pink pill known as Crystal and Kerosene. Okay, they were the originals. That's how I know all this, right? And then Paris came, Chrissy came, Cynthia G, and then Tokyo, TKO, all.
Okay, and then one thing that's missing from here is the connecting point of entry for a lot of these women, at least that I know of, that I am familiar with, how they got into the sphere, whether it's Cynthia G or this Paris Milan, they all came from that biscuit head Boyce Watkins, or as he's affectionately known, Moist Twatkins. He's the one that put a lot of these women on just so they could turn around and bite the hand that feed them. Now, granted, he may have, I guess he did them dirty or what have you, but I guess they took that as an occasion to go in on black men in general, just because of that Church's Chicken KFC buttermilk biscuit head Negro. Because of him, he provided a platform for them to come out here and start talking this stuff. So the irony of that is not lost on me as well. But let's get it.
Them start popping up after. So that's how long I've been around. Exotical just comes out the gate claiming that she Exotical, but she's so focused on black women channels and not focused on creating a enclave for Exoticals, all right, and talking about their plight and the racism they face. She only want to talk about dick because her elevator does not go to the highest level. Plus, she talks in a fake voice, right? Her real voice does not sound like the white woman that she's trying to pretend to be, okay? She's full of it. Then she's trying to lie and say Paris is selling skin bleaching products. And it's like, she don't take heed to nothing, right? Paris already told you that when she get off from vacation, she gonna sue you. And I've been on YouTube a long time. And one thing I do know about Paris, she about her business. She coming for you, okay? Miss Exotical, you finna be, you really gonna be exotic. She coming for your butt, because you in the video pee-popping and lying and saying why she's showing photos. She's showing photos of herself in various lighting aspects of her when she was young, when she's not outside playing tennis or basketball, to show her fans that she's not skin bleaching, because you're saying defamatory things about her when her platform is built off of uplifting brown and dark skinned women, right? And then you're accusing her of not being about what she says she's about and calling her a skin bleacher to hurt her reputation and her business. That's what you're doing. And you want to put up a brown paper bag test. That just shows how weird you are and how you are everything I said in my previous video earlier today, that you are a colorist, you're anti-black, and you're a weirdo. We don't even know if you're a real Exotical. You could be one of those ugly, hit in the face, thumbs in the face, right? Look like a thumb in the face, right? A funny face woman like Cat Williams said, that's on here trying to pretend to your fans.
Well, here's an idea. Why don't all you women show yourself so my guys in the chat can give you guys ratings? Why don't we do that? Because a lot of these women are showing themselves, so it ain't just this Exotical chick to that point. But anyway, a lot of this stuff that they're going back and forth and on about is vanity. And it's so interesting that they're talking about beauty while being so ugly at the same time with regard to their actions and going back and forth. So, it's just kind of funny. But we're going to get a little bit more of this before we wrap up. But I did want to give you guys the full panoramic view in terms of what these various factions are saying and how it just kind of blew up into things. Now it's becoming, these insults are flying. The weave is flying. The skin bleaching cream is flying everywhere. There's lawsuits flying everywhere. So it's just very interesting. And the beautiful part is none of you guys had nothing to do with it. So it's very interesting.
That they are something and you're something too when y'all really not nothing. The grand scheme of the things, nobody gives a fuck about you exoticals that's half black, half non-black. The only people that care is black men when they want to fuck you. But other than that, the Asian.
Damn, she went hard that time. But it just depends on the preference, and I wish these women would stop making you guys sound so one-dimensional that all you want to do is fuck on an exotical. Look, it just depends. If a guy's rocking with a woman, if she's exotical and he's really feeling her, he don't just want to fuck her. He want to have a relationship with her, just like any other woman, right? Whether it's a unambiguous black woman, he may prefer that. He may prefer an exotical. So it ain't just because he want to smash all the time. Yeah, that's a lot of the time the case, but it's not all the time. And they're just trying to, very much limit you guys. And I think it goes back to what Israel Young Lion said earlier in terms of the projection. So I think a lot of times what they're doing is projecting a lot, just like when it comes to these altercations that they're having. They seem to have a lot of venom towards each other and they project it onto you guys. But let's get a little bit more.
Community don't care about y'all. The white community don't care. The Latina community don't care. Okay? They don't care about y'all. So I don't know why you acting like you got some power play. How you got power play over a demographic of women who don't have power in society, and neither do you or any of the exoticals. So you call yourselves, right? Y'all have nothing. And I could really start making videos, really hurt your feelings, and list off all the exoticals that's out here down bad, right? Out here getting cheated on with women that's not exotical. They the status quo, getting cheated on by the men you put on a pedestal that have no social economic income like that. These men that do get some cheat on all their exoticals with white women and Latina and Asian women that have no black in them, that's fully non-black.
Again, I mean, that's a stereotype. A lot of this type of these type of conversations lack a lot of nuance. They like to use broad generalizations, especially as it relates to you guys. You ever notice how they like to have themselves be presented with surgical precision? You can't use any type of broad generalizations and all this. And if you do, then all hell breaks loose, like what's going on with that particular situation. But when it comes to you and your image, all you guys are cheating on the exoticals with white women and all this kind of goofy shit. So it's just kind of funny. But anyway, I think I've heard enough of that. I did just want to give you guys that broad outline, to let you know what these broads are saying. And to be honest, we got to just give our side of this equation, because our take on it is a very important one, because we are unbiased. We're looking at this, as I said, from our royal imperial skybox as at this gladiatorial combat. And we are bringing a perspective that needs to be heard and needs to be considered, because we don't have a dog in the fight as it pertains to a lot of these westernized women. Because again, when you look at the type of things that they're talking about, is very vain, very vainglorious, very much the antithesis of what we find attractive as women. And they wonder why a lot of you guys are grabbing your passports, getting on those planes, stacking your bread, and you're not doing it with them. And they get bitter. They start going in on each other. Like I believe it was Shadow Zulu said, or maybe it was Ken Seeing Red. One of you guys were saying how as you guys are being removed from the picture, there seems to be a lot more animosity and infighting going on. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's more to come. And we will be here to analyze the proceedings as they happen. So thank you guys for showing up and showing out. It's been fun. It's been fire. I appreciate you. Thank you for everybody that was in the building, everybody that's still in the building here in the wee hours. You are true Knight Riders. Shout out to you. Shout out to all you guys who are going to watch the playback. Salute. And yeah, so we're going to end the broadcast as we always do. We're not just a podcast. We're a squadcast. There's a very big difference. Mission complete. Over and out.